Picture this. It's 1969. The Apollo 10 mission is in full swing, basically acting as the ultimate dress rehearsal for the moon landing. Everything is going strictly according to plan. But out there in the void, these highly trained astronauts are about to run into something they were entirely unprepared for. Welcome to our explainer on the echoes of the lunar dark.
So what exactly did NASA hear on the dark side of the moon? Just imagine being hundreds of thousands of miles from home, orbiting a completely desolate alien body. For a crucial window of time, you are totally cut off from Earth. No mission control. Nothing. Just the massive, heavy void of space. And then, out of nowhere, you hear it.
Journey into the dark, the isolation of Apollo 10. To really get what's happening here, we have to understand just how profoundly alone these guys were.
You've got the initial launch from Earth, the lunar orbit insertion, and then comes that terrifyingly quiet phase. As the spacecraft physically passes behind the moon's sheer mass blocks all radio frequencies. In spaceflight, they call this LOS, or loss of signal. And loss of signal means exactly what it sounds like, total radio silence. For those agonizing minutes, they were literally the most isolated humans in the history of our species. The only thing they expected to hear was the sound of their own breathing and the quiet, steady hum of the instrument panels. The eerie space music, an unexplained phenomenon. Because, as you probably guessed, that absolute silence didn't last long.
When you listen to the declassified internal tapes, you can pinpoint the exact moment it happens. You hear one of them say, "You hear that? That whistling sound?" Keep in mind, these were some of the most unflappable test pilots on the planet, guys who absolutely do not panic. Yet, their genuine bewilderment in that moment is totally undeniable.
They actually dubbed it space music. It was this strange, continuous, almost synthetic whistling that sounded exactly like some eerie sci-fi soundtrack pumping directly into their headsets. And this wasn't just a quick burst of static either. This weird music lasted for nearly an hour while they were trapped in the lunar dark.
Investigating the anomaly, searching for the source. Obviously, they didn't just sit back and enjoy the tunes. They got right to work trying to figure out what was going on.
The crew rapidly started evaluating all the potential sources. Command module systems? Totally normal. Lunar module systems? Normal. Maybe some kind of lunar atmospheric anomaly? Well, impossible, right? The moon doesn't have an atmosphere. And you know, when you eliminate all the probable causes, it's pretty natural for the human mind to wander to the improbable. But they were pros. They kept their heads down, stayed objective, and just logged the data.
The scientific truth. Declassifying the whistle. Because this audio was classified for decades, it became a massive playground for wild theories.
Conspiracy theorists naturally leaned super heavily into rumors of unexplained extraterrestrial contact. But when NASA finally finished their analysis and declassified the files, they put all those alien theories to rest for good. The actual factual culprit? VHF radio system interference.
Okay, so VHF ranging system interference is basically a phenomenon where the very high-frequency radios of two closely operating spacecraft end up cross-feeding. It creates an audible feedback loop. Remember, Apollo 10 was actively testing the lunar module. That meant they had two completely separate spacecraft operating right next to each other, both with their VHF ranging radios flipped on.
Let's break down exactly how this happened. Step 1, the command module and lunar modules separate. Step 2, both of those VHF ranging radios remain active. Step 3, the radio frequencies overlap and heterodyne. Heterodyning is just a radio physics term for when two different frequencies mix together to create a brand new third frequency. And finally, step 4, that resulting feedback creates the eerie whistling noise right inside the headsets. It absolutely wasn't aliens. It was literally just their own spaceships talking over each other in the dark.
So, what other terrestrial echoes will we mistake for the unknown as we push further into deep space? It is such a stark reminder of how our own human technology can sort of create its own ghosts. What other perfectly logical yet completely terrifying phenomena are waiting for us out there? As we push outward toward Mars and beyond, we have to remember sometimes when we think the universe is whispering back to us, it might just be the echo of our own machinery.